don't say anything. I'd have to believe that Cone Aaron Love would be the ringleader, throwing the Molotov cocktails at the headquarters building, so to speak. It's a company man.
And now, he's a company man. He's a Bob.
Ugh.
He's a they. Special Warfare Training Wings basically hired him as to promote their positive messages and that kind of stuff.
One's ready. Go! So you guys are going into Special Warfare Assessment Selection. It is an attributes-based selection model. What does that mean?
Guys, are we running right now to get fitter with practicing running? Practicing.
Right? I can't freaking...
So there's a holistic picture that we're looking for. The instructors are giving you input, and we're expecting an output. And everything is for a reason. If you guys haven't heard my spiel yet, everything that we do, every single exercise, has a connection to the job that you're trying to do. We don't want people at INDOC, Special Warfare Assessment Selection, whatever they're gonna call the new course when it inevitably changes somewhere down the road. I don't care what they call it. What I need is you to show me the raw materials for the things that I want to build you into. Just like everything else, it's a crawl, walk, run.
I can run a key, sir, just like this. All the way to ATC, you never quit. All the way to ATC, you never quit.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Ones Ready podcast. Before we hop into this next episode with Trent and I just deep diving into the Zulu course even further, would love for you guys to head over to onesready.com and let me bring it up here. That way I can walk through it with you. Head over to onesready.com, right hand side where it says prep partner discounts. Hit that partner discounts and then scroll down to where you see attack lead. This is the second one down, and I've hyperlinked a whole bunch here. And you hit that. And now bear with me, guys. I gotta swap screens with you. This is the problematic part about it. I gotta swap screens. So after you hit that, make sure you have pop-up blockers disabled, and then look, it doesn't say One's Ready. It says Jared, but
because Jared cares about you more than the rest of us. Let's be honest. Right. Jared actually cares. The rest of us are like, fine, give him a discount. I don't really care.
Yeah, whatever.
Jared's the nice guy.
Yeah. So then you can hit redeem code, and it'll give you a code right there to get 10% off of your order on anything. And they've got everything that you could possibly need. They've got Alice rucks. They've got high volume masks. They've got a whole kit.
Today we thought about doing like a frequently asked question today. We did not, but one of the things that comes up consistently over and over again are questions about gear. What type of gear are we going to be using? What type of gear should I be training with? Where do I get it? And that's one of the big reasons why when Attack Lead approached us, we were like, this is perfect. Not only for the folks going into the pipeline, but then once we started with the OTS thing, the Operator Training Summit, it all kind of like lines up where, hey man, you need boots, you need snorkels, you need high volume masks, rucks, fins, all the same stuff that you need to be training with before you get there, if possible, right here with Attack Lead. So they're like the perfect partner for everything that we do, that we talk about, and at the training events. If you have this stuff, it's just going to make it that much easier. Gear setup, how you tape your stuff, training with the correct equipment. It'll just set you up for success in a way that's difficult to replicate without it.
Yep, absolutely. All right. So enjoy this episode about the Zulu course. And I don't think we're company men after this one, but maybe we are. I don't know.
Haven't paid me, so
Still haven't paid me, but you can totally pay us.
I'm right here.
All right, everybody, enjoy.
Later.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Ones Ready podcast. You're in the team room. It's just Trent and I hanging out with you today. I won't say what day it is. I won't say that we got an extra hour of sleep or anything like that, because then you would know when we recorded it.
Which would be terrible OPSEC or something. It was not. I totally forgot about it. I woke up this morning and I was like, I look at my clock. It's 7 something. I'm like, okay, time to get up. Slept in, and then I look at my phone. I'm like, oh dang. Now I'm just like sitting around waiting for the podcast to happen this morning.
We don't have a clock. It's just, on our phone or on our watches or anything like that. So
dang, you have no clocks?
We have one in the kitchen, but that's it. But so it's not like I wake up and I look at a clock and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I hate like my phone alarm thing happening. I don't want to interact with my phone until I want to interact with my phone. So I've always had a digital alarm clock next to my bed. So yeah, that's how I be.
I mean, I'm just trying to think about when the last time I had to change a clock. Like in relation to what you're talking about.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure your car just like updates automatically.
Yeah.
Elon is like, update the cars.
He's like, we got it. We'll take care of it for you.
Yeah.
You're an idiot. We got it. You know,
It's a weird world we live in. Yeah, there's so many things are automatic that weren't when we were kids, and like the same goes for like when our parents were kids versus when they were adults. It's the acceleration is wild.
Yeah, it is wild. And I'll take it.
Speaking of changes, the Zulu Course, huh? I hear it's gonna be a crap show. Jared, what do you hear?
That's if you listen to and pay attention to anything on social media, it's going to be terrible. Nobody's been through it yet, though.
Right. So it's easy to say that it's going to be terrible.
Yeah. Well, you seem like you want to talk about this.
Well, I know Aaron got on here last night by himself because he's a busy man doing busy things. So it's hard for us to line up with him right now. Anyway, and he talked about the Zulu Course because he wanted to address some of the pre-negativity being thrown around by some of the students and other people involved with the special warfare training pipeline before people are even going through it. Now, we have seen the training plan. We've talked to people that have been involved in building this thing. And I think our reactions have mostly been, from the paper, mostly positive, right? However, if I was like getting involved in this process like 2 or 3 years ago and getting into the DEP program and the development program, and then I'm like in the pipeline finally, how many times have things changed over like the last 3 to 4 years?
Oh, it's constant change. It actually never stops.
Yeah, and it's a change on a level that we don't typically see or we hadn't seen for a long time. Like when we talk about NDOC was never the same NDOC, right? Like NDOC went through a myriad of changes over the years. However, the basic structure of NDOC with like a 3-4 week selection portion of it, and then the pre-def portion that comes after that, 8 or 9 week course, like most of that stuff, like the big things stayed the same. Now it seems like in the last, I don't know, decade or so, we've just been big changes after big changes after big changes. So even though I know Aaron was telling us that he kind of told people to stop being like whiny little B words, there's a change fatigue, the fact that we can't keep anything normal, and then the lack of communication about it until things are actually happening, I think is really what's driving people nuts. I don't think it's the content that they're complaining about.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'd agree with that. There is change fatigue for sure. And that goes across the Air Force and the DoD and that kind of stuff. But also if you realize that things are constantly changing and you just accept it and you're like, okay, well, things are going to change. That's the way it is. Then I think maybe you get less hung up on it, and sometimes most of the changes are, I say most, maybe that's a little too positive there.
There was a change one time that was good.
Yeah, there are changes that are good, whether it's mostly or not frequently. I don't know, but there are changes. They're going to happen. Some are for the better, some are for the worse, and then later on they get changed.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I get stuck on you talking about these young people getting hung up on it. I can't help but imagine a Cone Aaron Love, and Aaron being who he is and going through the one's ready process and some of the things that we've seen him have to overcome with some of his tendencies and wanting to fight everybody all the time about everything and not letting things go. It's funny that he's the one that is like, you guys are being like, it's going to be good and change is good. And then we're like, guys, it's fine. Just don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't say anything. I'd have to believe that Cone Aaron Love would be the ringleader, throwing the Molotov cocktails at the headquarters building, so to speak.
Absolutely. The fact that he has turned heel now, and
he's a company man.
And now, he's a company man. He's a Bob.
Ugh.
He's a they. Special Warfare Training Wings basically will hire him as to promote their positive messages and that kind of stuff.
The thing is, though, you're right. Like, you shouldn't worry too much about it. And we say that these are big changes, but we always talk about this too. Like, selection is selection. There's always the same attrition, right? We always end up with the same general group of people at the end. No matter what we call the courses, no matter what other training is thrown in there, the Zulu course or anything else, whether dive is a requirement or it's not, and it's just kind of done at some other random time, no matter what, it's going to suck.
Mhm.
You're going to have to get through it. And so I'm not sure that another thing is like the social media amplification of things. I'm not sure if these people are actually upset about it or if it just seems that way because it's on social media. And man, if you're E3, E2, whatever, pipeline student, get on there, vent some feelings. I like the memes, like
The memes are the best.
yeah. There's a new page popped up the other day with like special warfare pipeline specific memes, and I was like, yes, like even if I disagree with it, I love the memes.
I wonder, because you and I are retired now. We're talking about, late 2018, like when memes really started. I mean, memes have been around for a long time, right? But
Yeah.
when military memes really started going ham on leadership and policies and how they used to go on witch hunts to find people. Is that still going on now? Because I know that it's big in terms of you get a lot of these folks that are making stuff in uniform and that kind of stuff, and it's been
Yeah.
several people. Jameson Travels have covered it, and Nikki, whatever, MGTV or whatever his name is, they cover it. Nate from Valhalla cover it and that kind of stuff. And
To
I know people
Valhalla,
are going,
brother Nate.
yeah,
I have to say,
brother.
hey.
They're going after or going after people like that. But remember when they were going on witch hunts about meme pages and, oh my God, we got to shut these people. We got to find out who it is. Is that still happening?
I don't know.
It doesn't seem like it, but again, I'm not in those conversations anymore.
Well, there seems to be like this weird equilibrium that kind of happened, but also I think some of the witch hunts that I don't want to say involved in because like
I
we
wasn't
were not
involved.
helping, but like people reach out to us and are like, do you know who this is? And it's
Yeah.
like one of the reasons I love to be ignorant about all that stuff is that I actually don't know who they are. I just interact with people online. But even if I did, I'm not going to tell you like, but like they get real sensitive though when you start dropping really specific stuff like people's names, people in the whole AFSOC debacle years back where they were pushing people through the pipeline or pushed a person through the pipeline and then tried to claim that they didn't, right? Like everybody knows what happened. And then enough people got online with very specific information from people that were actually there in the training environment at multiple stages along the way. I think that's when they went a little bananas on that one.
I remember
But
the command chief on a visit, the wing command chief and the wing commander, like pulled me off to the side and go, "You're in this space. Who is it?" I'm like, I don't know. They wanted to know who lowercase dooms was. They wanted to know. I'm like, I don't know who these people are.
Yeah, we
And
all
it-
have
and it- and it's-
influencer get-togethers where we just sit around the fire and chit-chat.
Yeah, it's called what was that conference that just happened?
The MCon?
No, it wasn't MCon. It was a couple. It was like the military influencer conference.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Weird that
is that?
I don't check my emails enough to know even if someone like that would invite me to speak at it, Like I'd just be like, I don't know.
So I did get a DM from somebody going like, they don't want to hear from me. He goes, I would love to see Trent or Aaron be a keynote speaker at the military influencer conference and just hear them go scorched earth for 30 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, just put it out there, folks. One's Ready is always available as a panel because I think that's where the real heat
magic
comes from.
is.
Yeah. Don't invite one of us, invite all of us. It's a little more expensive, but that's where you get the magic. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's anyway, totally went off there. But I think that hopefully leadership is not trying to do witch hunts on meme pages anymore. But if they are, or hopefully they're not, but they should use these pages as a barometer or a temperature check on the kind of morale and how things are going within their formation is really what they should use it for.
We should
And
just
not
stop
take it
doing
so hard.
deox and be like, upload your memes to the commander's page.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. Like, and then he would be like, oh, okay. Now I know what's happening.
Yeah. And that's, and don't take it so hard. It's not a, phallic object. Don't take it so hard. All right.
It's just, I mean, it is funny though, like the sensitivity of some of these people, right? And I get it. We were dealing with like a generation thing. We talk about Joe Bass, who was on the podcast a couple times, but it's like she tried social media. But Joe is what, like a little bit older than we are?
Yeah.
Maybe
I mean, she's
fair bit older than we are.
she's probably 50, I'm guessing. I don't know.
Yeah. So it's like it's hard for, I think, some of the really young people to understand like how literally when Joanne Bass was a child, the internet was not a thing that the normal average person even knew existed. There was a lot of like intranet things. There were the universities and the military. Al Gore invented it. It's a long story, but just to understand how fast all of these things happened. If you don't know it, this is a fun experiment for some of the younger people. Go back and look up when the first iPhone came out, and it's not as far back as you would think.
No.
Considering the way things are now and how integrated it is into our life and all the smartphones. So like we deal with some of that, like, so with the lowercase dooms thing, right? Like, so they were saying all true things and they're treating it like this came out in the New York Times, which I guess back in the day is kind of like how this would have been. We might have been better off going to the New York Times and doing this, but like, hey, they're bought and paid for and all this other stuff. But, so like they take it so seriously and they think that like they can keep these secrets and they're used to like having these little bubbles of secrecy, especially when you say special operations around anything, everybody's automatically like everything is classified, right? Which it is absolutely not all classified. But like it's just, it's hard for them to like step into the brave new world of digital transparency and realize that them trying to go after these people and to cover all this stuff up and pretend like people are not going to know is only going to make it worse.
No, that age of I've got a secret and I can actually keep the secret and keep it within a small group of people. That is gone, especially if you have, and I'm going to say this to try not to out people. When you have insiders that, they want the information to be out there.
Yep.
And so, even if you do put them on a gag order, they'll, all they're doing is calling their friends. They're just staying in contact with their old teammates and their old, that kind of stuff. They're just,
and then there's the question of legality. Like, what are actual legal orders? When a commander says you are not allowed to talk to anybody outside of this organization about what we are doing. I mean, we dealt with that a lot, and I'm like, dude, I'm in your chain of command. You can't not tell me. You know what I mean? Like, and you can't not. Like it's so broad. It's like you can't talk about any of this stuff. And this has happened a couple times. And I think you and I always know when some commander tries to utilize the gag order thing. Because then our phones blow up. Because as soon as it has the opposite effect, y'all.
Yeah.
So for all the commanders out there, as soon as you issue a gag order on something, whether it's us or some other, mill influencer or anybody else, their phones start blowing up immediately. That's how it works.
Dude, you're never going to believe this.
We're like, dude, are you like, what? Can we talk about this? They're like, yeah, just leave my name out of it. Yeah. And they're like,
oh, all right.
But like, you're also getting texts from like 4 other people. They're like, oh yeah, I'm not supposed to be saying this, but like, yeah, because gag orders are stupid
and they don't work.
And it's, if you tried to like actually like, I think Article 15 someone or like take them to court over it, I'm not sure how binding that kind of stuff is when it comes to, I don't know. Like, does the subject matter have to reach a certain point of like classification or sensitivity for a commander to issue a gag order? Because it seems real.
I don't know. If that commander happens to get OSI involved, I don't trust OSI in the slightest. So it wouldn't surprise me if they would, as they're going through your phone in discovery phase, they would nail you for other stuff.
First of all, they're like, dude, you're a horrible human if they go through my phone. Second of all, but OSI is not going to get you for violating the gag order. No one that's how a lot of this stuff works, right? Like that you're not getting an Article 15 for violating the gag order from the commander because everybody knows that it's nonsense. You're getting an Article 15 for some other trumped up nonsense that happened years ago, or they find somebody to say that you touched them inappropriately, or yeah. When Sergeant Segmiller was down here, he called me a retard. It's like, Trent, you're not
Sorry.
allowed to say that. It's like, oh, okay, well,
Oh, my bad.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, and the thing about the gag orders being whether they're legal orders or not is the commanders a lot of times they do know what's a legal order. Sometimes they don't, but they know what's a legal order, and they'll still use that. They use the fact that you don't know what's a legal order and what's not, especially if you're a junior enlisted or something like that. Because I know that there was a Stowe who I actually like. I like the Stowe. I think he's a good dude. I think he was a good leader, good commander, and that kind of stuff. But he was telling a story about this, and this wasn't at the unit while I was at. It was at a different unit, but he had seen or heard about one of the dudes on a crotch rocket, like doing stupid shit, right? And so he's worried. He's concerned about his safety, and I think rightfully so, right? So he ordered him not to be allowed to ride his motorcycle, and he had him park it in the back of the squadron. And the airman at the time was like, shoot, I guess, I mean, that's a legal order. I mean, I'm pissed about it, but what am I going to do? Right. Like, and like he was telling this story during like a professional development thing.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here going, me and the crow buddy of mine were sitting next to each other. I'm like, I don't think this is getting where he wants to go. Like, this isn't, you shouldn't lie or fabricate or utilize the fact that you know something against the junior enlisted, whether it's coming from a good place because, you're doing it for his own safety, but you still shouldn't do that.
Yeah. I mean, like, these people are not your kids.
No.
Like I would do that to my kid also because riding a crotch rocket is incredibly stupid. But like also like it's not, we've had incidents within our fairly small community where really bad things have happened with dudes and motorcycles and all that other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So like it can be a really sensitive subject, but as the commander, like trying to give someone a legal order that's illegal, I mean, that's just a real not good look. I mean, go to his supervisor, all the other people, but like if that dude still wants to ride his bike to and from work and go riding on the weekends, that's not your business.
It's not. But
and I get it. You want to protect the kid because he's a young combat controller or whatever.
Yeah.
We all know young combat controllers and how they be. But still not your job.
No. So, yeah. But yeah, man, we will. But going back to
where did we start at? Yeah, I don't know.
The Zulu Course is what we started talking about, and the critiques of it and that kind of stuff. And I think it's okay to critique stuff. I'm here for it. However, just know that when you're chucking spears at it, or the people that are doing it, and it hasn't even been enacted yet, you haven't even seen the first class. And I'm going to tell you right now, the first probably 3 classes are going to be rough. It's going to be like, this isn't a professional organization. What the hell is it? Like, why would, there's probably going to be a little bit more sitting around than there would be normally. Right. Yeah. Like it's the folks that are setting this thing up. And I'm going to speak specifically about the cadre because they are our teammates. They are the dudes that decisions are made and programs are put in place, and they're built on the backs of those instructors.
That's where the paper and the culture meets.
Right. And those instructors, whether they agree with it or not, they will bust their ass to make sure it's right and make sure that it doesn't fail, because even if they kind of want it to fail, they won't, because there's just something in their DNA that's like, dude, I don't like this. This is bullshit, but I'm going to bust my ass. So they are doing their best with what they have in a resource constrained environment. They don't have the funding. They can't just swipe a card unlimited, especially right now, guys. We're in a shutdown. There's no money flowing. Like training and education, like basic training and pipeline and recruiting and stuff like that, are accepted, is what the term is, activities per the Secretary of War. So they're kind of using funny money right now, right?
It's all funny.
For lack of a better word, it's all monopoly money, but
Yeah.
they're doing things. There's technically no budget. So there's no bank accounts that have been replenished with funds. So they're kind of going off of like, well, IOUs, boy, 250,000, might want to keep that one kind of thing, you know? Like,
Yeah.
that's what they're operating on. So you have cadre who are executing a brand new course that has never been done before. They don't have extra funds. They don't have extra manning. And, you know, this is going to sound bad to the leadership. And I don't mean it as a shot. I'm just going off of trend data that I've had for 25 years, is that the leadership kind of goes, all right, here's what you guys are going to do. Now go do it, you know, instead of kind of setting them up for success, easing into it. Now that can be good because in a way, because they can go, hey, go do it. And then if you get out of the way and let the NCOs and the senior NCOs actually go do what they know that needs to be done, you're probably going to be okay. But if you sit here and from a leadership perspective, and you're sitting here observing, you go, whoa, no, don't do it that way. Do it this way.
Yeah.
That's when we start getting into problems.
Yeah. A little advice for the training wing and group leadership. Don't let any DVs come and see any of your courses for a year. Just keep everybody away. You can do it. You can say no. It'll be all right. At least 6 months, because you got 3 classes that are per like the training model, right? Are supposed to be your validation classes where everything is still in flux. Then after that, then you make your final changes. You might run through validation again. You might not if they're pretty minor. And then you actually like concrete this course in. And then you can move forward. And then you have to get the cadre need experience doing the course as well, so they can get better at it. They're going to do a great job regardless. But you know what I mean? Like they're finding the rhythm, finding how everything, the single thread that pulls through all the training, all those other things, like cadre with a couple reps are going to get it. But it takes time to smooth these things out.
Mm-hmm.
So don't be being like, hey, we got this new Zulu course. Like, let's call in all the AFSOC and ACC boys and all the, you know,
come
see our brand new toy. It's like, no, don't do that right now. That's a bad idea.
And unfortunately, I don't think that the wing or the group is going to be able to keep people out, because I think people, you know, Zulu Course is the hottest. I mean, when was the last time you saw a press release on
they are doing better
course? Like, I mean, that's what I'm saying. So they're trying to get the message out there. So by doing that, that means that people are going to go, okay, well, let me come check it out. I'm going to check this thing out, you know? Like, dude, maybe just give it a class or two before coming to visit, man, because it's going to be rough.
I still have concerns, though. I want to talk about training concerns, because we've talked about the combined training course for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And this is nothing I haven't said before. So correct me if I'm wrong, but they graduate like their selection, whatever, and then they all go straight to the Zulu course before, or do they go airborne, SEER?
That's the way I understand it.
They just roll straight into Zulu, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then after that is when this is where I got my bugaboos. Then they do airborne, SEER, free fall, pre-dive, dive, whatever's in their docket to accomplish before they head off to their apprentice courses, right?
Right.
That's my bugaboo. Like, how much of that stuff? So we're putting in like the to me the Zulu course, like what they're trying to teach and what they're trying to get after, and the amount of time that they're dedicating towards it. All good things. I just think it's in the wrong part of the pipeline.
Oh yeah. I see. I get what you're saying. It's kind of like where pre-dive is. They're like, why is it so? It's actually where I think the combat control pipeline messed up years back when they left NDOC. You know, is they put everybody through all this school and then pre-dive, and you're like, man, we've spent a lot of time and resources on this person for them to freak the hell out in the water and not pass pre-dive, hence not going. And now they need a whole AFSC. And one, for the airmen themselves, I guess sticking up for them a bit is they've got to experience some incredible stuff, but also you've kind of delayed their Air Force career because they went through all this and now they've got to go. Now they get kicked out of pre-dive or they failed or they quit or whatever. Now they got to go back through a whole nother job, whether it's C or EOD or security forces or whatever. And they've got to go through that tech school. And now you've delayed their career by 2.5, 3 years.
Yeah, the two real gates are pre-dive and dive. And I'm pretty sure all the SR and CCT guys are at least going through pre-dive again, and it's a requirement that they pass. I think that's where it's going. So like understanding like the psyche of a trainee too, like put yourself back in that position. Like the mountain that you're climbing is not the Zulu Course. And I'm sure there's going to be difficult things with the Zulu Course, and I'm all about it, right? But that is not the big mountain in the pipeline. The big mountain is the pool. It's the water. And so like you expect these guys to sit there for whatever 3-4 months in the Zulu Course, and it's gonna be great. They're gonna have fun. It's gonna be good training, but their brain is still gonna be like, okay, towards the end of the Zulu Course, for all the folks that need to start doing water stuff, they start doing water stuff before they go to pre-dive, and I get that them laying that foundation for pre-dive. However, when you talk about all of your other land training that they're gonna do at the apprentice course, there is no train up to get them back ready and to refire and all the things that they learned before wiping their brains clean in the pool and jumping out of planes and all that other stuff before they get to the apprentice course.
Yeah.
And this is a problem that we've always had because we refuse to do as a community long-term paperwork for basing actions and all that other stuff and to move. And I keep saying it until it happens. Take the Zulu Course, pick it up, move it to Kirtland, drop it there, and have at least the pararescue and the combat control and the SR apprentice course in the same place, and then at least all three of those career fields can go through the Zulu right before the rest of it, right? And you save a lot with your resources, and when you buy radios for one, you buy radios for all, and all the other stuff. But you can't tell me, and I get it. I think I know things about students because I spent a lot of time in that area. You're going to have a hard time convincing me that they're going to graduate the Zulu course, go through those other courses, and show up at their apprentice course and be able to just pick up where they left off. That is not how it works. And so like Zulu course, great. But I think resource wise, you're not going to get the training value out of it that you think you're going to get.
Yeah. And it's not a shot at the Zulu course. It is.
No.
We're talking about the order of things, and there's a reason why and I can't remember the amount of days. I think it's 90 days. You have to have attended dive school after a pre-dive course. I think it's 90 days.
Right. Well, and dive school is one of our few, like, it's like a soft SOCOM accredited course, right? So you have to go through your SOCOM accredited pre-dive, within like 90 days before you go to your SOCOM accredited dive.
Yeah, and there's a reason for that, because if you graduate pre-dive, it shows that you're ready, you're trained, you have the breath capacity, you have the cardio and aerobic capacity to make it through, and the confidence. Anybody that's gotten out of the pool, even 90 days, you get out of the pool for 90 days and the assumption is that you haven't stepped foot in the pool again, which would be a bad idea, but maybe you do. Having to go through dive school and run that kind of pace, be underwater, do your 25 meter, your 50 meter underwaters, your 1-man, 2-man comp, all those kind of things, all the finning and swims. Like, dude, that's tough.
Yeah. Well, and by that same logic, right? Like everything is a perishable skill. And so there's a reason why you have to go through the pre-dive course in a certain amount of time before you go to the course. But we're like, no, but we're going to spend all this time in the Zulu course. We're going to have a big break where there's going to be a big life events happening for these students, and then roll back into this land course. And it's like, that's not how, and I think based on the length of the Zulu course, so they're not going to lose all of it, right? Like we have enough time, so here's the other thing. If in the Zulu course, you're doing like a whole lot of one and done, like the more simple the Zulu course is, the better it will be to really just get the really basics. And I know some of the memes were like, oh, it's just like the Army infantry school. Correct. That's what you're going through. Y'all need to learn your infantry skills first, and it's long enough where I think you'll maintain some of it, but there's not going to be that smooth transition between your land-based Zulu course into your land and air-based apprentice courses as much, and that there will be a drop-off. There will be things that you have to teach twice.
Yeah.
Otherwise, your attrition rate, you're going to show up and just roll them right back in where they started. That's not really how it works.
Oh, you better believe that, with as it's set right now, with the Zulu course being as early as it is in the pipeline, when dudes get to their combat control school or pararescue school or wherever schoolhouse, their respective schoolhouse is going to be, they pick up a radio and go, I don't remember how to program a 167 or a 163, or I doubt that they're using 152s anymore, but
maybe to start a fire.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Was that the 152s?
No, not the 152s. 152s are great. People didn't want to give them up. The 163s and 167s are the newest ones that are getting a little warm.
A little warm, yeah.
Yeah, getting a little warm.
Send them over to Sear. Fire starters.
But yeah, it's just you better believe that they're going to go, the cadre there at the apprentice course are going to go, what the? You guys learn this stuff. How have you forgotten? And it's just another reason to smoke you.
They're going to call their bros down at the Zulu course and be like, are you guys even doing anything?
Yeah.
Are you guys even what these guys show up here? They don't know anything. And so the current leadership down at the wing. So this is always the problem too. I'm not throwing spears at them necessarily, because this problem should have been solved 10 years ago when we started the process. We should have had an actual long-term plan, which I don't know if you guys know this about the whole special tactics community, and we get involved with this. I think GA is probably a little bit better at long-term planning than we are, but we're just now, for the most part. So they're doing the best that they can with what they've got right now. So they're going to send up this Zulu course, and it's really good, theoretically, and it's going to happen in San Antonio, right? Now, but unless you have a plan in the future, I think, to fix the way that it happens. And I know that their counter argument probably is well, if we send guys to pre-dive, dive, airborne, sear, and free fall, that's also a huge investment for folks that we don't even know if they can, I don't know, land nav and fast rope yet, and all this other stuff, where there are some attrition events later on. But you just got to pick your poison. But I think resource-wise in the long run, having all the land stuff together is a better way to train.
Yeah, it all makes sense.
It is.
And here's what I don't know, because I didn't listen to Aaron's podcast, even though I edited it. Editing is different than listening. I didn't listen. Obviously, I haven't listened to what he recorded last night when he went off on people, which I may listen to that one.
Yeah.
But when he covered the press release a week or two ago, I don't know if he covered the details of it. So here's what it looks like. You have 3 blocks. Block 1 is 20 days, and it introduces foundational concepts, including human performance optimization. Human performance optimization, special warfare communication systems, mission planning procedures, and tactical combat casualty care, TCCC. So what does that mean? It teaches you human performance is all your mobility, your strength and conditioning, and that kind of stuff. Probably some nutrition in there as well. I'm sure I'm forgetting something, but it teaches you the kind of baseline to be able to take care of yourself. So when you're in places that you don't have a POTF team or anything like that. Communication systems, obviously radios and that kind of stuff, mission planning procedures, all that's part of the MDMP process, and Ranger Handbook and all that kind of good stuff. And then TCCC is your medical stuff, which is now the standard for there's no self-aid and buddy care anymore. It's all TCCC.
The DoD standard.
Yep. And then you go into block 2, which is another 20-day stint, and it focuses on weapons proficiency from both special warfare pistol and rifle systems. Additionally, vertical operations include tower training and rappelling techniques. So all your different weapon systems. I don't know. It just says pistol and rifle. I don't know if they're going to have crew served in that, or if they're going to wait until you get to your apprentice course for that. But
I would hope that they don't do crew serve. They really need to spend some time with their primary and secondary, I think. Yeah. If I was going to write the course, I wouldn't do crew serve that early.
Yeah. Agreed. Or maybe they'll just leave it for AST or something, advanced skills training. But
Yeah.
then you got vertical operations to the cloud tower and that kind of stuff. So rappelling, probably some fast rope from static. I doubt they'll put anybody in a helicopter at that point.
I wouldn't. Well, the thing is, if they're going to do all this stuff at their apprentice courses again, these are all going to be like, if it went in the old PCK model, they're all going to be like fairly low skill standards that they have to pass. You can have a whole bunch of repetitions and have like your standard to pass still be pretty low. I mean, I think the whole point of this course is to get those repetitions that we've traditionally lacked before we throw guys into situations kind of live. You know, like how many times did you do a static display before you rappelled and fast roped out of an actual helicopter? Or
Maybe once.
Yeah. See, like the old way, which we agreed, like, is probably not the best way to train people.
Yeah.
But imagine if you get like, this is a 4-week course. Imagine you get an entire week, which is going to suck, just on the tower, rappelling and fast roping over and over and over again, from slick to body armor to some lightweight rucks and all that other stuff. Like, I think it's a good thing to really get that in there.
But your comfort level on learning, because you're not only, I would think, I could be wrong, thinking about vertical operations to include tower training. I gotta wonder if they're gonna learn to do all the knots and that kind of stuff that are specific with rappelling and climbing and that kind of stuff. So because that would be good, because you learn it early on. But
and it's not complicated for like basic rappelling and climbing.
No. But I mean, imagine the part that gets people the most, just thinking about rappel, which rappelling's easy, right? But when you're on the edge and you're not used to it, and that freaks people out when they first do it a couple times. So
straight leg back. And if you don't want to go completely horizontal with your legs, make sure that first jump is a big one and completely let that rope go. You got to let it go. Otherwise, you're just going to bunk your head into that ramp.
And then, okay, so block 3 is 42 days long, and it emphasizes advanced tactical skills, including land navigation, close quarter battle, techniques, close quarter battle techniques, pyrotechnics, and demolition, and subsurface swimming. This block culminates with a 5-day field training exercise and a 7-day culminating exercise. Okay.
So when you think that, I can only imagine what is in your head for what that means. Dear training wing and cadre, please keep this. I'm not saying make it easy, but make it simple as possible for these folks to really bake in the basics.
Yeah.
Because I was just like looking at your face and I was like, he's running through like footage in his head of what that means to Jared. And it's like, I hope it's not quite to that level.
I mean, the weird part is that in a common skills course, which is the very first thing, and this is in block 3, which is 42 days, which is a decent amount of time, right? And the second word says advanced, emphasizes advanced tactical skills.
That's stupid.
These are brand new dudes. What is advanced about what we're teaching them?
Take that word out. Strike that word. Special word for training wing. Strike
that from the record. Land navigation, great. Here for it. It gets a lot of people, right? Yeah. And not just Air Force Special Warfare. It gets a lot of Rangers. It gets a lot of Green Beret dudes. Gets a lot of SEALs. I mean, I can't tell you how many times being out there at Field 6, where part of the Ranger School is, and we're out in the woods doing our own thing.
Yeah.
And then you hear rustling through the woods, and you get a Ranger come up, and he comes up on you, and he's like, he's really glad to see you, but at the same time he's panicked.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Hey man," and he's super dehydrated and just drenched with sweat. I mean, you are too, but "Hey man, where are we right now?" And you're like, "Dude," and you point the map and you're like, "We're right about there." Yeah. And he's like, and you can see the just desperation, the fear, and the, oh my God.
Bro, you ran into the Air Force training area that you're not supposed to be in.
Yeah.
Right.
And he's like, and then all of a sudden he's looking at his map and he's like, and he takes off running.
Yeah.
And the whole time you're just like, man, this poor guy, like, God.
Yeah.
He just
about
went
to get
5
recycled,
clicks.
and
Yeah, it just went 5 clicks in the wrong direction. Like,
oh, nope, not gonna make it.
no. So, and then again, what do we CQB? Oh boy, that better be like basics.
Yeah, see,
I
and
mean,
that's what I'm saying. Like, so like when we talk about land nav, like, and I hate to say this, but like the academics of it, understanding your map, understanding your declinations, understanding your compass, like all the things that hopefully like they can be like keep 80% of that through repetitions by the time they get to the next course. Like those are the important things. It's not like then they need some time out in wherever in San Antonio they're actually going to
yeah,
do this, which is going to be probably fairly simple because it's not the woods of North Carolina.
yes, it's not Camp McCall.
Yeah. But man, like so, like when it comes to the vertical stuff, like the knots is more important, I think, than them being great at rappelling right away. When it comes to CQC, it's like they need to understand the concepts. And I said techniques. I think right, like it wasn't like
For what? CQB? Yeah, CQB techniques.
yeah. And there's some goodness in that, just understanding angles and how things work. But like guys, like I'm hoping that it is simple, like you said.
Yeah.
And that advanced word needs to, maybe that was a copy and paste error or something, but we shouldn't be doing anything advanced. That's not, they're not advanced yet.
No. And pyro demo, that makes sense to me because that's all real easy. That's probably more based off of academics. Hey, this is a blasting cap. This is det cord. This is time fuse. This is TNT. This is C4. Watch me hit C4 with a hammer, and freak everybody out. Yeah.
Don't put these in your mouth while you're running. Bad things happen.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a 2-minute break.
Okay. And then, so you got the demolition. So that's probably going to be basic stuff, I would hope. Just more academics and, hey, these are what these things are. This is how you calculate time fuse. This is how shock tube works and all that kind of stuff. And probably the theory behind shape charges and all that kind of good stuff. And I'm going to wait till Trent comes back to talk about the subsurface swimming because I don't know what that, obviously I know what subsurface swimming means, right? But when we're talking about folks that haven't been through any kind of pre-dive or anything like that, what does subsurface swimming actually mean? Because usually if you said subsurface, that would mean it without aid of, okay, I'm glad you came back because I am sitting here trying to work this out through myself. The next thing after the demolitions is subsurface swimming.
Right.
I'm like, so from your training perspective, what does that mean? Because when I hear subsurface swimming, I think of two different things. I think of underwater training. I think of, operator training summit. We're doing stuff subsurface under the water. You have the unaided without a breathing apparatus. Then you have, scuba, rebreather types, close open circuit, closed circuit that is with an apparatus. So what is what do you think in this regard subsurface swimming means?
I think this is a vague block so that they can start doing pre-dive.
Okay.
Pre-dive stuff. Just so that they can say they're going subsurface. I think this is all unaided because this is their last block, right?
It's got to be unaided. Yeah, it is block 3. It's the last block because then that's also the FTX and the Colex is in there.
Yeah, that's just pre-dive stuff that they want to get them spun up on. So I know in like the narrative breakdown of the Zulu course, that was one of their things. They're like, we understand. Like there's a lot of really smart dudes down there that do not want to hose the trainees and want to make sure they understand that like taking that break after selection, while physically is probably a really good thing, but they probably haven't seen the water as much during the first 2 blocks of this phase. They're like, we got to get these guys back in the water and really prepare them because they don't want guys coming out of the Zulu course and just start failing pre-dive in epic numbers. Like remember the cadre are actually on your team trainees if you're willing to put in the work. So that's all that is.
Yeah.
From where I'm sitting.
No, and that totally makes sense. I didn't think of it being a prep or a pre-dive, which that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, that just means that the end of the Zulu course, like you better you better be paying attention and on your game, because you're going to get smoked in the mornings just because it's hard. Like, it's not the selection course anymore, but you got to get through this stuff, and the pool takes it out of you in a very unique way. And you still got to prep all of your land stuff for the collects and all these other things that you're going to be doing as you put all of these new skills together, and you're expected to perform. And they're likely to be DVs and everybody watching you go through it and all that other stuff. So,
man, I'd love to see the breakdown. And for the folks out here, when they, and correct me if I'm wrong, when they say 20 days, 42 days, those are actual training days. That doesn't include weekends. That is
yes.
Monday through Friday, or maybe it does include the weekends, but you're training on those weekends.
Yeah. When I hear 20 training days, I think 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Like it's 5 training days. It's
5 training days a week. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's one of the really good things I think about the Zulu course, because I always, dude, in all the old conversations, and we had a lot of these conversations with the people I really like, but there was always this idea that we could sprinkle in, like, hey, while they're at pre-dive, we can sprinkle in some of this tactical training, and while they're at these other courses, and they do the sprinkle thing. It's like sprinkled in training does not work unless you bake it into somebody's DNA. That's not real training. Right? Like, why does CCS work? Well, you know what? Why do the apprentice courses work? Because they're all a little bit longer. And you remember a lot of that stuff moving forward. Now, per my reservations about them not remembering anything going through all these courses, man, they're going to be in this course for what? 3.5 months, 4 months?
Zulu?
Yeah.
Well, it's 1 month, 2 month. So 4 months basically is if I'm reading this to 20 days, and then 42 days. So
yes. So hopefully enough of this stuff does get baked into these trainees, so that when they go through the rest of their training before they show up to their apprentice course, it should just be a refresher and pick up where you left off. So and that's not just on the training pipeline and your cadre, y'all cones. That's also on you.
Yeah.
Keep all your notes, review it every once in a while. It's not like you never have time again at these other courses that you're going to review it, at least in your head, or to talk through things, or to look at a map and refresh some of those skills and just keep it in the forefront of your mind. But understand, when you get to that apprentice course, you will be expected to refresh real quick, likely, and then get right back to it.
Yeah.
And even then, using the word advanced is stupid, guys, at the apprentice courses. All right.
Yeah. Maybe that's a copy and paste error or something like that. But yeah, it definitely says advanced in here for one of the events.
No. Have they met the trainees?
Well, they're not human, right?
They're cones. Yeah.
They're cones. They're
not
human.
Trainees. They're candidates. I get all my verbiages for all the different courses mixed up. When you're in BMT, you're a trainee, and then you're an airman, and then you're a candidate for our guys, right? Are they just like regular people after this past selection course per like the AATC-isms within there?
I think so, because they don't have the I don't even know if they still call it phase 1, phase 2 in terms of lockdowns and that kind of stuff, and having to wear a uniform everywhere.
Oh, like they're kind of normal people, but they're still cones. You're a cone until you get your funny hat. So
yeah, funny, weird looking colored hat.
Yeah, they should all be one. I've said before, we should all just take back those old Air Force, the commando hats that they used to wear.
Mm-hmm.
That's what everybody should wear. Get rid of the berets. They're kind of silly. Just
the commando hat. Oh, I don't know. AFSOC air commandos would be upset about that.
Yeah, but we're the real air commandos.
So I will say, like, okay, so that's a whole nother thing, right? That I've man, I'm towing a line here, because I got there's quite a few lieutenant colonels that listen to us that are friends of mine that,
yeah.
So, but the frustrating thing, like, let me caveat this and put the disclaimer out here right now. Aviators within AFSOC are incredible aviators. They're really good at what they do. The platforms that they fly are great. They're good dudes. They're very highly skilled, highly capable. Okay, there's my disclaimer.
But
when the issue, right, is that I kind of have is that when we go around, I say we, because I'm going to put myself in the collective Air Force Special Operations Command here. we go around and we saying, Air Force Special Operations, or hey, Special Operations does that. But in order to become an Air Force or AFSOC aviator, you have to be issued a set of orders. It's an assignment. You have to be assigned to RAF Mildenhall. You have to be assigned to Kadena. You have to be assigned to Hurlburt Field.
Yeah.
You have to be assigned to the 27th Special Operations Wing at Cannon. It is an assignment. There is no assessment and selection for an AFSOC aviator for them that they don't have to go through an assessment and selection.
They already went through flight school. I don't know if you know this, but
Yeah, already went
pilots
through
are like a
UPC?
different breed of human.
Yeah.
Especially if they went to the academy, you wouldn't even understand how much better they are than
Right.
you are.
And for the folks that are out there going like, well, I'm not even going to bring that other thing up because that's a different thing. Okay. But anyway, I have issue with that. And not like a huge issue, like, oh man, it's burdened up. But I always think it's funny when AFSOC, Special Operations Command aviators, air commandos, and that kind of stuff. You're like, hey man, in reality, there's only one group of people that go through an assessment and selection in accordance with SOCOM standards.
Which, by the way, and this was brought up at the last OTS, I did not. And I just want to keep reminding people that it's not a secret that I was pre-selection SAUT. So just like the guys that were pararescue guys and combat controllers before you guys had an official in-dock and assessment selection course, I am just as big of a piece of crap as those dudes in your career fields because they didn't go through the official in-dock or assessment and selection. Like
So
you
you're
guys
telling
did.
me that that's all I had to do is to finally get you to admit that?
I didn't know it was a secret.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. My work's done here.
So if you could find those old school combat controllers that ended up being combat controllers before the official selection courses and all that other stuff, and just let them know that they're also terrible humans and they don't deserve their berets, just like myself, that would be perfect.
Your Mike Lampeys,
Yeah,
your John Corrins, those guys.
yeah.
You guys are terrible, man.
Existing in a career field before selection and then trying to make it better and then hopping on all the other good ideas of the other career fields, apparently, and then giving advice based on half a career in the training side, helping build the stuff. I just think that is okay, but the fact that I don't bring up on a regular basis that I did not go through an actual selection course to get to where I am, apparently some of the developers out there have some heartburn with it. So you go ahead and send a Lampy a message and let him know that because he didn't go through a selection course to get his beret, also, just like Trent Segmiller, they're just the worst.
You're not putting yourself in the same sentence as Lampy, are you? Because that would be weird.
No, I'm not a legend like that for sure. But like, it's funny. Like, it's like you meet all the requirements set forth in front of you to do a certain thing as an airman, and people are like, well, you didn't go through a selection course like I did. That is absolutely true. And I would also agree with you that the folks in my career field that have gone through the pipeline and come along behind me as part of our goal to make the career field better and legitimate are way better than I will ever be. So apparently that was confusing for some folks.
I guess so. Well, some people have heartburn about it, to which you could turn around and go like, my little bugaboo that I just talked about is not a big deal. This is why I made a disclaimer saying, hey guys,
they should want to be better.
Yeah.
You should want like the 160th, if you, especially on the not fixed wing side, but the 160th should be to a certain extent the goal for every special operations aviation unit, right?
Yes.
Do their enlisted maintainers go through a selection course to get there? And so, and it's not the same as like being a Green Beret or any of that other stuff, but it is a difficult unit to become a part of. And there is that shared understanding. It's just like, it's a baselining event, right? Like Air Force BMT, we all went through it and it was stupid, but we all went through it. To get into the 160th, you all have to go through this thing. And it kind of sets your mind right for the expectations that are going to come along with that title that comes along with special operations.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a good thing. So like we could say like, yeah, it's not that big of a deal that they don't, but the fact that they don't want to, or they're not trying to,
right.
That's the problem to me, because unlike my community, which we recognize the problem, we're like, we should probably have a selection in the pipeline, guys, because it's not the current model is not working out, right? Like it's
Yeah.
like it's kind of like some of these cyber. Then there's a tangent, but like some of these like cyber and intel folks that are like, why don't we just create like these like ground pounders after their intel folks or cyber folks instead of having the special reconnaissance career field? And it's like, guys, we've tried that before with limited success. You're going to find a couple people from your career fields. And by the way, that limits you to the number of people that can actually like try to do this other thing. But you're going to find a few people that are fantastic at it, that are going to do all the tactical stuff and they're going to crush it. But then you're going to have a whole bunch of them. You're going to have to water down the standards that they're just going to be liabilities. I promise. It's not how it works.
I remember there was when we were trying to solve a problem. This was back in 2016, 2017, 2018, something like that. There was another master sergeant that was a peer of mine, and we were doing stuff, and he's talking to some of the cyber dudes at the weapons school, and it was like, because we're trying to solve this tactical problem, and he's like, well, why don't you guys just teach me how to hack, teach me how to code? And I was like, well, dude, these guys are on a whole nother level of talent and natural ability, kind of like you when it comes to shooting or whatever. Like to just go, why don't you, I'm already here. I'm already going to be on the ground. Why don't you teach me how to hack? It's like, dude, that doesn't work out like that. If anything, it should be, hey, here's a thumb drive. Let me give it to you. Once you get on target and you're able to put stuff, get access to computers, just go plug it in. That's probably the most I need you to do. And then as a cyber dude, I'll take care of the rest.
Yeah.
Teach you how to hack.
Well, and it's ignorance. Everything is easy when you're ignorant, right? Like ignorance breeds arrogance, and we all are guilty of it at some point or another. Like, well, why don't you just teach me how to do it? It doesn't look that hard when you're doing it.
Yeah,
and it goes both directions. It's like, I mean, I see what you guys do. It doesn't look that hard. And it's like, okay, then come on over. Let's have some fun. Yeah.
Well, all right. I think we covered that pretty well. But like I said, I am interested to hear what Aaron has to say. I like it when he goes scorchers. It's pretty funny. Especially when he's like, yeah, I kind of cussed a lot at the end. I'm not bleeping it out.
I want to see Aaron love specific memes in the Zulu Course meme sphere. I want to see those two worlds mesh a lot.
Yeah, he's turned now. He's a they.
He's a company man.
Company guy.
I don't know if the wing is paying him on the side, but if they could get some of that money over into my pocket, I would also turn around and be a company man. I'm just saying, not above it.
So, Special Warfare Training Group, if you guys want to talk and line our pockets, man, we will.
As soon as the government shutdown's over, I know you guys are going to have some money you got to spend right away, because that time still counts as time that you were supposed to be spending money that you didn't spend money. And when you get that money, dude, I'm available.
That's what's going to be wild, is in that's for every organization. I'm going to be, since I oversee it where I'm at, I'm going to be looking like, where can I throw money right now?
It's like end of the year stuff, but it's like, because so like money and time, folks, like that's kind of how it works. And Jared understands this way better than I do. I don't know, I'm talking about it, but like you're supposed to have the money obligated and spent in certain percentages at certain points in the year. And just because the government shut down doesn't change the law.
No.
And so like as soon as everybody gets their money, there's going to be a spending spree that's going to be ridiculous. The longer it goes on, the worse it's going to get.
Oh man, it's going to be so bad. So bad. And everybody's like, oh, well, that's going to be good because you're just going to be able to like spend money. It's like, no, because everybody's going to be trying to spend money. It's going to, the comptroller at each one of the bases is just going to be overload.
Yep.
It's man.
Yep. And the thing is that you're like, well, why can't you just spend money on these things that you've been trying to spend money on before? It's like, well, if it involves contracts and all this other stuff, like those things if they're not prepped and ready to execute tomorrow, the government's done being shut down tomorrow, money drops. It's like, we got to spend it. Like if you're not ready to execute whatever, if this equipment is not available to buy, if all these things don't line up perfectly, it's a pretty small window of time that you're going to have to get this stuff done.
Yeah. And guess what? A lot of civilians are furloughed when it comes to comptrollers and contracting. Like a lot of contracting squad, I don't think people realize, and I definitely didn't, how many civilians, government civilians, work within the DoD. It's an enormous amount of people.
Yeah.
Whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent, there's not enough active duty members to do all the things that are required.
Well, and we've talked about that too. Like the government shutdown is a good thing because it shows you just how many civilians we have that we don't need, but it also shows you the 10% that are absolutely critical to day-to-day operations.
That are doing all the work.
Yeah. They have all the continuity and do all the work, right? But there's piles of them that it's just like if they disappeared off the government payroll tomorrow and never came back, things would actually work a whole lot better.
Yeah.
Same goes for general officers.
So, all right, everybody. I know we didn't. I'll do a pre-roll ad read on this, but head over to onesready.com, pick yourself a piece of merch. But what I'd rather you do is go over to Operator Training Summit and sign up for one of the events, especially the Vegas one that we have coming up in December. You're going to be camping out at Red Rock Canyon, which is going to be awesome. You're going to spend a day on land doing mobility, running, rucking, calisthenics, pull-ups, push-ups, sit-ups, flutter kicks, all that kind of good stuff. We'll hit nutrition and things like that. And then on the second day, we're going to put you in the pool for 10 to 12 hours and help you get efficient in all of those techniques. The most important thing is this is not a hell week. This is not a hell day. You want that? Go someplace else. That's not our jam. And it has
if you want to see Peaches get a little bit spicy, a little spicy Peaches happens at these courses. If the students are like there and they're always asking for a little taste.
Yeah.
And there's nothing more fun than spicy Peaches, y'all.
We'll give you a little taste, but if I'm not saying that it's bad to go do a hell day or anything like that, right? It has its place. But if you actually want to increase your chances of passing and doing well in the pipeline, the Operator Training Summit is for you, because we're going to teach you, we're going to instruct you and teach you on how to do proper technique on things to better your chances and make you more efficient in the pool and on land. So, yeah, operatortrainingsummit.com. All right, we'll see you later.
Bye.